Good morning. Good afternoon, Career Living Fellowship. I'm still in another mindset. I'm Reverend Jorge, and welcome everyone to Monday Practice with me, Reverend Jorge. This is a space supported by Creator Living Fellowship. And if you want to know more about Creator Living Fellowship and all the wonderful activities that we do online, visit our website, creatorlivingfellowship.com. So during this month of this December, we have been doing a lecture divina, which is a practice. And let me explain you a little about this space. This space is to 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 explore different spiritual practices so that we can enhance our day, that we can explore more and expand our spiritual practices. That it could be from meditation, mantras, prayer, or yoga. But sometimes we need the spiritual practices that are more simple, more easy to grab, and easy to bring us back to our essence or presence or this unity with God. So in that way, we can live more in a more at peace and more freely, more connected and more loving as well. So the this practice it's are dedicated for that, and we have been working on almost for 4 months of different practices. And this month is related with the theme of the month, which is celebration. And so we are celebrating basically the given birth of the Christ light, of the Christ consciousness in every one of us. And that's why we are celebrated. So in that way, to celebrate this month, our practice has been centered in the Lectio Divina, which is a practice developed back in the 15th century by monks, where they discovered that every text, sacred text, or painting or art can take us as a deeper message, as a deeper contemplation, as a deeper sense of ourselves. So in because we are doing the celebration of the Christ, the born of the Christ in ourselves, the Christ consciousness in ourselves, the Christ light in ourselves, and all these Mondays we have dedicated to and that, exploring that, so that next Friday, when we have our Christmas Eve celebration, we are prepared to enjoy more from a deeper, more sense of union and connection with God, and understanding that it's more than just a celebration of one day and all Christian tradition, but as well it relates with us with a Christ consciousness or ourselves, that we are one with them. So Lectio Divina is a practice, as I say, that it can be practiced any moment, anytime. So when you are visiting a museum and you see a painting, you can ask yourself, what is in that painting that it works for me, that it tells me something to me. And at the same time, with the text, in the 15th century, well, we use one text, there was the Bible, as a sacred text. But now that we are in the 21st century, we can really use any sacred text, including the meme, or that you can read in Facebook or in Instagram, or the picture with a nice quote from Buddha or Abraham Lincoln. Anything can serve to you. It's always is a place where you can take the test, the painting, the art, the test, and go and feel in yourself and ask yourself, what part of this art or this sacred test is telling me something about me? What is about that attracts me, and what is trying to burn and to bloom from that on me? In this time, we've been celebrating, because when we are in celebration of this Christ consciousness and the Christ, so I've been using a tradition from Colombia, that is called the novena, which during the nights before Christmas Eve, we get together and we listen the story of the steps prior the giving birth of Jesus Christ. So I've been using that story to tell ourselves, to ask ourselves, what in that part of that story is something about me, what it tells me about me. So we explore the story of the angel and Mary, and then the angel and Joseph, and now we're going to explore a little the other part, the last part of the story before the Christmas Eve, so that it brings us together, and so we are prepared for our Christmas Eve service and be open to receive the Christ in ourselves, the given the light of the Christ in ourselves. I see that people are showing up right now. Going to open the chat, and it's here. And Krista say hello and hi, Krista. Good to see you, and I'm glad that you are here. And so the before we go into the practice with this story, I want to invite you to, if you feel that you like this space, and this space had give you so much, and Creator Living Fellowship really with all the activities enhance your life, I invite you to participate and to share your gift with us by just using our PayPal or PayPal. Oh, what I did here. Hello, Robin Sherry. Good to see you. Good evening. So we can use our PayPal link, or you can use the text by calling to the numbers there. Why is not showing up the links? This is strange. Let me try it again. There you go. And the text. There you go. So they are here. There you can see that, and if you're streaming this later, you can at the same time check in the box below and see the link, so you can support us as well. If you really liked our activities here, I really invite you again to visit our website and Creative Living Fellowship and check all the events that we do every weekend. And that, just a heads up, next week we have a very relaxing week, so we're going to be off for a week. And at the same time, and I lost my train. Oh yeah. So the Reverend Shari, thank you. And so if, and also I want to invite you to the Christmas, the candle and light Christmas Eve service this coming Friday at 6:30 p.m. on Phoenix, Arizona time. And all the information is in the website, so visit it, and there are the links over there. And at the same time, if you really like this video and like all the activities, please, every time that you watch a video on YouTube, on Facebook, give it a thumbs up and make a comment. We read all of them, and at the same time, it helps us to spread our message around the social media by get it viewed by the system, the internal system. Well, it's 6:40. My phone is already chiming, so it's time for doing the practice. So as I tell you, this is Lectio Divina. We're going to take a deep breath, and we are going to tell you the part of the story that is today. And be aware of when the part of the story it resonates with you. You feel something in your body, your heart maybe jump, you feel connected with some part of the story. It could be the whole story, it could be just one statement of the story. Just let it go. I will be repeating the story, So you can hear it many times and from different ways, so you can find that resonance. If the resonance is don't happen, it's okay too. Maybe it's not for you today, or maybe it will be later. So but keep in mind the story and enjoy it. That's lectio divina, is just to listen the story or read the story and find what is up to me, what it's trying to tell me, why I'm resonating with this part of the story. Why? The same thing with the art. Maybe later in the next year, maybe we will come back to lecture divina with some painting or something art, if I can figure out how to put this share the screen in this part with this software. Okay, my friends, so take a deep breath. Another deep breath. Another deep breath. And then the last part of the Christmas story, we have a Mary and Joseph. The process of the pregnancy is working well. Everything is flowing beautiful. But the baby Jesus was conceived in Nazareth, where Joseph and Mary lived there. But also the tradition said that the Messiah will be given birth in the town of Bethlehem. So, in order to fulfill that message, somehow the August, the emperor of that time, commands for a census, where they count in the census, but the census will be counting where the people were born. So everyone has to move back to their towns. And Joseph, believe it or not, was from Bethlehem. So they took their stuff, their own things, and moved to Bethlehem to fulfill with the law of the Romans, not the law of the Hebrew, the Romans, and go and register in Bethlehem. A long trip. Imagine Mary, pregnant, Joseph, worried about her wife, walking into the desert space, and arrived to Bethlehem. And then when I arrived to Bethlehem, because everyone was moving back to their own towns, Bethlehem was full. There was no vacancies. There were no places to stay. They arrived very late. And they knocked the door and knocked the doors and knocked the doors, with every rejection following and following and following. Imagine the sensation of Joseph. Every time they received a rejection, probably his heart was breaking in million pieces. And at the time had to turn and look Mary and look the knowing that it was Jesus there coming soon. So his heart also back again in completion, and returned and gave it the strength to go and knock another door. And that was almost the whole night, knocking the door, looking for a place to stay. And until the one last door, the person say, no, there is no vacancy. But I own a place where I have my donkey and my bolt and other animals. He offered to Joseph and Mary to stay there. It was at least something warm, something safe, something secure to spend the night. And Mary and Joseph, very grateful and humble, and in a full of love, say yes, yes to that offer. And then took the direction and went to that place. Joseph organized everything and put Mary in the center and surrounded by the animals, so they can share the heat and they can have a more warm place to stay together. That was the place, the situation to give him birth, the Christ in us. Take another deep breath. Take another deep breath. Sometimes to fulfill our destiny, we need to fulfill some requirements, but something external, government, society. In this case was the Roman August, the emperor. They wants a survey. They wants a census and make everyone to move around. But maybe it looks so silly. Maybe it looks so silly that situation. But it was a movement from God to fulfill their message, to fulfill that prescription that the Christ will, the messenger, the Messiah will be born in Bethlehem. Sometimes we hear that requirements, and something is just a movement to fulfill our destiny. Then we have to fulfill their destiny, take the time and the steps and the road. And maybe it's not easy. Maybe it's dry. Maybe it's long, cold, or warm, or extra hot. But it's something to do. Like Mary and Joseph walking through from Nazareth to Bethlehem in not good conditions because Mary was pregnant. Mary was in the last month of the pregnancy. Imagine Joseph feeling only care about the wife. That's for us. And then we arrive to Bethlehem. And because all that silly requests from the outside government, from the outside, everything was full, no vacancies. And you knock the door, knock the door, knock the door, and rejection tras rejection tras rejection. And your heart starts to sink, to break, to lose hope. But then you turn around and you see what you're doing that knocking the door. The face of your lover or your wife, and the infinite opportunity that's coming with the baby, the infinite possibilities, the hope that she's carrying with the baby. That brings back the hope in Joseph. And finally, the last door. Although there is no vacancy, there is a place, a warm place, a secure place. Maybe not that was expected, and maybe that was not what a pregnant woman should receive and should be cared about. But this was a very humble, secure, and wonderful place. It holds the animals. It holds a beautiful animals, secure and safe. It's also safe and secure for Mary and Joseph and for the baby later. Everything was perfect. It was not what's expected, but it was perfect. And in that silent night, surrounded by the heat and the warmth and the breath of all the animals in that place, and the love for Joseph and Mary, Jesus was born. What a beautiful story. What a beautiful situation. Take another deep breath and think of yourself. What part of this story belongs to me? How I'm preparing for this Christmas candlelight light service to celebrate the giving birth of the Christ consciousness within me, the Christ light within me, how I'm getting warm and finding a secure place for that. Maybe I feel imperfect. Maybe I feel not enough. But for the Christ light is enough, is perfect. How many times we had to do things that we are not agreed, or maybe we rejected, or we had some time of rejection of the things that we need to do. But it's there where is the reason for to take us to this growing of Christ in ourselves. How many times we have been knocking the doors of spiritual paths or spiritual growth or spiritual philosophies until we find that place that touch our hearts, that would give us all that we need. And we only have to say yes, thank you. Touch your heart and take a deep breath. And another deep breath. And hold this story until next Friday when we get all again together to celebrate the given birth of the Christ light in ourselves. That we start anew again and again and again with the best company. That's God within us, with the consciousness of God in us. Use this story, the Christmas story, to reflect how you are preparing, how you are open for, how you are saying yes. Are you still afraid? Or you are walking in the desert and you are knocking the doors? Or you are sure that you are in the right place to say yes, to receive the light? Hold this story, hold this story, and ask yourself, what part is for me? What part is telling me something that is for me? Maybe it's the whole story. Maybe it's just the knocking the door. Maybe it's to resting in the place that I am right now. Humble, warm, and safe and secure. Supported by the most unthinkable things and beings. Take a deep breath. And rest in the story. Take another deep breath. In the story. Remember, sometimes there are things that we don't understand that are necessary to fulfill our path or call. We had to sometimes to walk in the worst conditions, in the worst situations, but we have to do it. This is maybe not beautiful, but it's with a purpose. Maybe we arrive at some places, or we are in places where we feel that all the doors are knocking and there is nothing good. There is not a good answer. But there is always one, the less expected. Maybe it's the one that we don't like to see. but maybe the answer is there. And that place that maybe is not the best in according to our egos, according to our beliefs, but it's perfect. It's safe, secure, warm, and it's enough. Is that all that is necessary to respond to the call and bring the Christ light in ourselves? It's all good. Take another deep breath. Take another deep breath. Another breath. I'm very glad that all of you are here with me. I know if you are watching this after through our streams on YouTube and Facebook, it's good too. Just hold the story. Just hold the story. If you want, review the last 3 Mondays and look for that part of the story that is give you the light, give you the inspiration, give you the openness and the love to come and say yes to that Christ light that's going to guide you next year and that always guide us. But this time we will do it more consciously. We're going to be more open and more allowing since from a conscious, more deep and more connected from one. I'm very thankful, very, very thankful for have you here. Not that right now all of you is connected and streaming, but as well everyone who's been seen these videos. This is the last encounter we have in 2021. We'll be back in 2022, and I hope to see you with more spiritual practices and with more ideas and more inspirations that are coming from God. Basically, I'm just here being an instrument. Thank you, Krista. I love that. Hopefully that something served you. Thank you, Reverend Sherry. My heart to you. And hopefully this space help you, all of you. And happy holiday, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Feliz Navidad, como quieran. It's your wish. Just enjoy the union, enjoy the celebration, this time of celebration. Enjoy. Thank you, everyone, and I see you next year. Bye bye.